His team uses a special particle accelerator to test fluorine levels in products.
They are used in over 1,600 different industrial processes and products. They make Teflon pans non-sticky. They make clothing waterproof. They make packaging waterproof.
In late 2022, Kerrygold stopped restocking its foil-wrapped butter to retool its packaging for California and New York ahead of new state PFAS laws. The company provided a statement that reads in part, "We will continue to ensure packaging for our products remains compliant with all relevant state legislation and regulatory requirements." Kerrygold's butter wrapping is not linked to bad health outcomes, but PFAS in general have been linked to certain cancers and other health dangers like high cholesterol and preeclampsia in those who are pregnant.
We've since discovered that all these PFAS are immune suppressants. So they suppress your immune system. And that means any opportunistic disease, including some types of cancer, could take
a bottle of Heinz ketchup. There are about 6 ingredients, all recognizable, but that's not the same for the classic US one. Take a look at how much longer this thing is. There are 3 added ingredients in the US version. See this right here? High fructose corn syrup, and natural flavoring. Those ingredients have raised some controversy the past few years. For example, the Environmental Working Group says natural flavoring, natural, it's not actually that. It's pretty deceiving. To be clear, they're not saying the ketchup is bad for you, but they say it's an example of not always knowing what you're getting. According to EWG, they say natural flavoring can contain mixtures of more than 100 chemicals. Heinz does not list exactly what natural flavorings are. They just say it's a mix of spices. Now today, there are more than 10,000 chemicals and additives allowed in food in the United States, often in small amounts. But they haven't evaluated all of them at the FDA in decades. Doctors say the majority are safe, but some chemicals allowed here have been banned overseas after being linked to cancer and developmental or behavioral issues. Told chocolate wasn't the healthiest option anyway, but fish is supposed to be one of the best things you can eat. Except doctors say some kinds could have high levels of mercury that could cause some problems. Possible health risks from mercury include impaired brain function, loss of smell, and developmental delays in children.
If you have a high mercury level while the brain is developing in a fetus, there can be cognitive issues later in life. So we're very cautious in a developing brain. So that is young children and pregnant women especially need to keep mercury away from those neurons that are developing.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus says certain fish have more mercury.
It's the larger fish and the deeper fish where you get the mercury. Swordfish, tuna, and other big, deep fish have higher levels of mercury, very little mercury, for example, in salmon and trout and other smaller fish that are at the surface.
So for typical adults, it's best to not eat those fish too often.
You can have 1 to 3 servings a week of tuna, and as an